Let's go ahead and talk about what we got going on today. If you guys didn't hear, we got the Hinman documents in today. I've been trying to go through those this morning, doing a one-man show over here, trying to hold it down. So my apologies to everyone. However, we're ready to go. Let's rock it. Guys, CPI data came out this morning. So looking at the data today that we had coming in, guys, at 6:30 my time this morning, 8:30 over there on the Eastern Coast, it says inflation rate year over year. Guys, remember, it was at 4.9. Consensus was at 4.1. Forecast at 4.3. What did we get? Well, we got a 4%. It actually came in below what we were expecting on the consensus and the forecast. Looking at the inflation rate month over month, 0.1% actual. Previously was at 0.4, and they were forecasted and consensus at 0.2, 0.3. In retrospect, though, we came in at 0.1. Numbers are looking good. Core inflation rate is now sitting at 5.3. It was previously at 5.5. That year over year core inflation rate, though, came in at 5.3%. Remember, though, core inflation rate and the CPI data is not really the biggest thing that they look at for the FOMC. What they look at is the PCE data, and that PCE data is not going to actually be in until the end of the month. Just to keep that in mind, what they're going to be releasing tomorrow for FOMC rate hike data is not going to be based on the most recent PCE. 94.2% chance right now, guys, that we are not going to have a rate hike tomorrow. That's what this is right here. 5.8% chance only of a rate hike tomorrow. However, if we jump over to July, take a look at July here, you can see we're at 60.6% chance of a rate hike now in July. So this is bouncing all over the place. Inflation coming in at 2.74%, still down another 1/100th of a percent, way off from what they even put here on our core inflation rate. So as you guys can see, we are just chipping away at that stuff here. You can see that Bitcoin on a nice little grind up. I know I'm looking at a 4-hour chart here. In this chart pattern here, we got a symmetric triangle going on right now. We were kind of grinding up. With this data this morning and the CPI, we hit right here. What this red line is, this is a trend assistant line, and it is now rejecting down. Also got a breaker block sitting right there in confluence with that. Coming down a little bit, we can see we're starting to get a little curvature here on the ribbon of the oscillator. Still not looking too bad. I'm expecting that we're going to get another bounce back up with the market open today. We can see that money flow is still looking good. The trend fusion oscillator is still pushing up hard, and the RSI still not in that danger zone up there yet. Although we do have the candlestick print off of the RSI line that is pushing down a little bit on us right now. Ethereum kind of grinding sideways, not getting that move up that we saw with Bitcoin. If you remember looking here, you can see we had more of an uptick to its trend on the 4-hour candles. Ethereum really just sideways in a range here, guys. What I want to point out is if you come up here, grab this tool, we're going to go find the parallel channel. I bet we can just grab probably right here on the top of this, anywhere in here. Just do this, bring it down. We're going to put this here, and you really could just catch the ranging going on here on the trade action. Tops to bottoms, tops to bottoms. So very interesting to see Ethereum grinding sideways amidst all of this. Still inside of its range right now, though, guys. If you actually look what we have here, and what I'm going to be watching for here is we broke out of this falling wedge here that we were in, and we got the confirmation breakout on it there. This could be a candle close up on there for a retest and could get some upside. But again, we got to wait and see how the market's open with everything that's going on. We are pushing down right now on this candle from that drop that we pumped up to into that order block, or that breaker block. That was like a 2.1% drop. Right now, currently sitting just at a drop of about 1.5%, about 1.5%. So not horrible on a drop here on the pullback, but we are seeing a pullback for sure. It's sitting there on XRP, it's sitting there on Ethereum. Yeah, Cardano's getting a little bit of a pullback there too this morning. And let's go find some of my other stuff here. Atom's got a little bit of a red going on here. And how about some Matic? Let's see how Matic's looking this morning. So yeah, a little pullback on Matic too. So not horrible this morning, guys. But again, we are like Ethereum right now is in a little danger zone with this red candle that it does have. If it breaks back down into this wedge, you can see here we're actually set up. See this yellow line running across here? That is the 0 line of the prime oscillator. And if we get a 0 line bounce on that, as we've seen previously in past history, and when it comes up there and it can't break through, and it gets a little 0 bounce lines right in that region, we could see that. I'm going to be watching for that closely for you guys. Guys, here's what happened with XRP. This is the scenario. So you can see here, going from the high that we had back in 29 March to the low that we had in May 8th there. Yeah. If you look at that and you lay down the Fibonacci's on there, guys, you can see that we did have a rejection right on the 887 at the top of the platinum pocket. Right now, this wick down, almost hitting the golden pocket here. And so I'm going to be watching for this to be support for it. If it doesn't happen, guys, then we're probably going to be coming back down into this dynamic reactor range. It is very possible that we could get a turnaround here, continuing this down. I'm going to watch. It's critical how it plays out on the golden pocket here, guys. House Republicans yesterday introduced a bill to fire U.S. SEC Chair Gary Gensler and make other reforms. The House Republicans filed this bill yesterday that would fire U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission Gary Gensler, restructure the agency. This was put in by Representatives Tom Emmer and Warren Davidson. They introduced this SEC Stabilization Act to remove Gary Gensler following his long series of abuses that have been permitted under the current SEC structure. U.S. capital markets must be protected from a tyrannical chairman including the current one. So the bill would add one more commissioner to 5-member commission and create an executive director role to oversee the day-to-day operations at the agency. The new GOP bill would also put in place a condition that no single political party would hold more than 3 commissioner seats at any given time. There's currently 3 Democrats and 2 Republicans holding those seats, guys. I will point out, this bill has still got to get Democratic support. So, is it going to happen? Well, given the climate of the non-partisan agreements that seem to happen, I don't know that we can get bipartisan support on this. It looks good on paper. It looks good for votes for the people that put it in. However, I will say that getting Democrat support on this is going to be very difficult unless some people go in there and really push some things. So, John Deaton here was talking about the SEC stuff. He says that it's important to remember as you read the Hinman documents today, Hinman and the SEC lied in court for over a year, saying this speech was Hinman's personal opinion only. We had to piece together a video of their own words to show that they were lying. And what are the repercussions for us? Your Honor, I give you Exhibit 157. This is the documents as they came out this morning, guys. And we're just going to be reading through them together here and pointing out some stuff. This is an email from Gary Goldschall to Bill Hinman, okay? And it says, "Hi, Bill. We have 3 key comments here for your digital asset speech. It's a great speech, but we think a few points could help make it stronger. Primarily, we think that up front, it would help if you added a disclaimer that the remarks focus on the 1933 Act. And if you guys don't know what the 1933 Act is, that is the entire policy that exists on why they say things are securities or not securities. So, as written, the language remains vague as to whether ETH is a security. If you want to make an affirmation statement that it's not a security, the language could be stronger. Just say it. If you don't want to take an affirmative stance, we suggest using language similar to what you use for Bitcoin." Yep, the Howie-Wowie test, that's right. On page 8, when talking about implications under the federal security laws, when an asset is considered a security, we would appreciate it if you would add, "There are a host of issues being addressed by our division of trading and marketing and markets investment management, including broker deal, exchange, and fund registrations, as well as matters of market manipulation and custody and valuation." Here's the deal with this. They've known for 5 years that they had issues with addressing what makes an exchange. How do you register your funds? The market manipulation for 5 years. So how and what has changed in the policy in 5 years that makes you go, okay, this is how we fix this issue, or this is the problem that we identified, and this is how we are going to clean it up? Nothing. That's the answer to that. Nothing. So this is the Howie test. When Howie met Gary, digital assets transactions here, okay? And this is from June 11th, 2018. And so this is basically the speech, and some key things to point out here. Can a digital asset or token that was originally offered in a securities offering ever be sold in a manner that does not constitute an offering of a security? So what they're saying here is that if something starts out as a security and then becomes so decentralized later on in time, can it then be not a security. In cases where digital assets or tokens represent sets of rights that give the holder a financial interest in an enterprise, the answer is likely no. In these cases, calling the transaction an initial coin offering or ICO or the sale of a token, it won't take it out of the purview of securities laws. And they go on here to talk about that they believe that these cases, the answer is a qualified yes, if they're no longer any central enterprise being invested in and where the digital asset is sold only to be used to purchase a good or a service available through a network. As I've come to learn, what may be most exciting about this technology is the ability to share information, transfer value, record transactions in a decentralized digital environment. Thank you. That's exactly what blockchain technology is. What does that mean? Payment systems. Check. That's crypto. Supply chain management. Check. That's what crypto does. Intellectual property rights, such as NFTs, guys. That's crypto. Stock ownership transfers. We're starting to see tokenization of this stuff. So again, fits right into it. Countless other potential applications that can be conducted electronically. Fact. Using these new networks, one can create digital information packets. Yep, we know all of this. Transfer using encryption keys. This is crypto 101, and I'm glad that in 2018, at least they understood this. In many cases, the economic substance is the same. Funds are raised with the expectations that promoters will build their system and investors can earn a return on the instrument, usually by selling their tokens in the secondary market once the promoters create something of value with the proceeds and the value of the digital enterprise increases. This is going to be important for you because when he goes into this section here, it starts to get pretty interesting. When we see that kind of economic transaction, it's easy to apply the Supreme Court's investment contract test first announced in SEC versus Howey, right? So the test requires an investment of money in a common enterprise with an expectation of profit derived from the efforts of others. Keep that in mind. In the common enterprise, that would mean like in the Ethereum network is your investment. That's the ICO. That is the launch of that entire network. It's important to reflect on the facts of Howey. A hotel operator sold interest in a citrus grove to its guests. The transaction was recorded as a real estate sale together with a service contract. In theory, purchasers could arrange to service the grove themselves. In fact, the purchasers were passive, relying largely on the Howey service companies to tend to the asset for a return. Form disregarded for substance and the emphasis placed on economic realities. In the ICOs, we have seen overwhelmingly promoters tout their ability to create innovative application of blockchain technology. Here it is. And so the digital asset itself is simply code. But the way it is sold as part of an investment to non-users by promoters to develop their idea can be, and in that context most often is a security because it evidences an investment contract. And regulating these transactions as security transactions makes sense. So what he's saying there is that with the digital assets themselves, they are not securities. But the way that it was sold by, whoever was promoting Ethereum back in the day, is what actually made it a security, which makes Ethereum a security, but the good is not. Again, this is his actual speech, so I'm going to drop all of this today into the Discord also, and you guys can read through it.
Wow, you made it to the end of the video. Great job. Now, if you want more content like this, whether it be TA on Bitcoin and Ethereum or altcoins, or you just want to stay up to date on the latest and greatest news in crypto, then stay tuned and tune in to our 9 a.m. live show every single weekday morning. It's 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And when you tune in live, use the keyword grip strength in the chat, and you'll get a special shout out from anyone who's paying attention to the chat. Love to see you there.